3 weeks of code, all in separate folders, disconnected. This week, I'm putting it all together into one reusable package, from scattered scripts to actual software. Let's see if we can pull it off. Hey, I'm Saurav. Welcome to Saurav AI Labs, week 4 of my 52-week GenAI testing journey. Quick recap: week 1, we built an LLM prompt formatter. Week 2, we built a test data organizer. Week 3 was about a response validator. Now, all useful, all sitting in separate folders, not talking to each other. This week is about structures, modules, and packages. The stuff that turns scripts into something which we can actually reuse. So I'm building LLM test utils, a single package that bundles everything that we have built so far into one reusable package. Let's go. Okay, let's quickly start. We'll go through the mini project that we are building. It's test utils and why this matters in AI testing, learning focus, and a project structure is given. These are all you can find in the readme section of weekly mini project. This is week 4 mini project. Let's close this. We'll go to terminal. Instead of going cd desktop make a directory, I'll say md and I'll create the test utils directory. If you would see, it's moved to desktop and then it created a directory. Now let's go to PyCharm, open this. So the directory is empty. Now the purpose is to reuse basically what we have learned so far, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll open prompt formatter. I'll copy this and paste it here. So we have prompt formatter now. I'll do it for the test data organizer as well. I'll copy this and I'll paste it. And also I'll do it for response validator. Copy, paste. So all the three are now here. So now we can start with our test utils. The goal was to reuse what we have already implemented into a package. We'll start with a new init file. Basically, we'll define what we are going to import from prompt template. We are going to import prompt template. From test data organizer, we are going to import create test cases and then not add, basically test cases. And from LLM response validator, we are going to import validate response, right? And basically in this we'll have to use something called all method of Python, basically to expose these packages outside. This would be a list and we would mention what we are importing, basically create test cases, validate response, right? So this init is done. What else do we need? I think we are set up. We need a main.py, basically our main orchestrator. So now we are going to, we can print something here first. New line, week 4 LLM test utils. Okay, so let's use week 1, which was prompt formatter, right? Prompt. So in that, if you have seen, we used to declare a template first, which would be, we can say something called summarize the following text, and we can say word count and text. So that we some clear to understand, we can mention words and text. Template done. We need a formatter now. Initializing this with the template, and then we can say create prompt, which would dot fill, and we'll pass word count equals to, let's say, 25, and text equals to AI is transforming the world. Okay, and then we can print this prompt. So this is done. Okay, it says not found. So for this, we can from LLM test utils import prompt template, create test cases, and validate response. Okay, we'll do quickly week 2 test data organizer, right? In this, we can have a quickly look at test data organizer, what it contains, create test case. So we'll implement the same here. We will say test case equals to create test case, and same, we know what is here, that is test case ID. TC001, and we can say prompt, and what else was there? Category. We'll say category equals to summarization, and then this would create a test case, and then we can print the test case. We can print this test case added, test cases added, success, and then we can pass test cases here. Okay, week 2 done. We'll do week 3 now quickly, which was our response validator. Now we can have a look what it needs to validate a response. It basically text and config, right? And we define config like this. So I'll quickly copy this. Config defined, and we can call validate response, but before that we also need a response which should be in a JSON format. We'll say status success, and we can also say summary we can say changing the world, right? And then you can pass this response and config as keyword arguments, and then this would return us a boolean is passed. We'll store it, and then we can add a condition here. If is pass, then we will print a response validated successfully, else we can say failed. Simple, nothing else. Okay, now if you remember, last time we faced an issue here because we didn't declare this properly. We'll say if name equals to main, then you execute our main. Don't execute on simply imports. Okay, there is an error here. That is because it's not able to detect our LLM test utils package. Okay. So before running this, we'll quickly create a virtual environment. We will say Python virtual environment, and we'll also call this name of the virtual environment as VNB. Basically, to run our package into a virtual environment without affecting our system wide packages, right? So let's try running this first. We have LLM summarize and prompt template, we have test case, and our also response is validating successfully because we have added the keywords. Now there is one more thing that we learned in this week, which was basically to bundle this as a package and then share it so that anybody can do a pip install on this utils. And to do that, we would have to create a new Python file, which we will call setup dot, basically setup Python file, it's by default. And we create called setup, and in setup we would have to define the name, which would be LLM test utils. Then we can define version, which we can say 0.0.10. Then package, we have two packages in this LLM, and we can copy this and dot prompt template. And we can do here package directory. This would be key value pairs, so we will do same. We would have to define where these directories are, which will be like this would be in the same folder, and this would be prompt template. Okay, so sorry, this is prompt formatter, not template. Here also it would be prompt formatter. Package done. We can say author. We can do description. Test utils. Forgot something called install requires. Let's keep it empty because we don't need anything for now. Let's import this. Let's save this. Okay, before this we ran this not in virtual environment, but let's run this in our virtual environment now. Say vnv bin activate to activate the virtual environment, and we can do something like pip install to install our editable package. This is not a validatable, oh sorry, so this would be pip install. Instead of setup.py we can simply say this directory. So if you can see, we have successfully installed our package, and hope this helps. That was week 4. Honestly, it felt different. It was less about learning new concepts, but more about organizing what we have already built. But that's the point. Scripts are great for experimenting, but packages, what we actually use to build real software. Code is in the repo, link is in the description. See you next week.